Namaste, DDs. My name is Sherry Sutton, and I am your marketing mentor. Apologies for starting a few minutes late, but it's great to see you. I hope you're having a fabulous day. Let's talk about social media. This is going to be a super high level course because we could talk about how to market your business on social media all day long. That's a intricate process. It needs to be very specific to your business. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I wanted to just kind of give you a very broad brush of how to market your business on social media. If you want to dive into this more, there's a couple different ways we can do that. One is I've got this great program starting soon called the Goal Getter Collective. It's starting on the 19th, and we're going to spend a lot of time talking about how to grow your business through digital marketing, right? Including both email, social media is going to be a huge component of it, and all the other places online. And then I also have my one-on-one coaching where I just got off the phone with a client and we spent probably about half the time talking about how to utilize social media to grow her business. And so really working one-on-one is a good way to do that. We'll talk about that here in a few minutes as well. All right, I'm going to pull up some slides. All right, using social media to grow your business. Again, this is a really nice high-level, broad brushstroke on how to do this. But if you're interested in learning more, let's talk some more. Okay, so 2 words of warning. Well, 2 slides worth of words of warning, right? Yeah. All right, the first thing is that social media is only one part of your overall lead generation strategy. It cannot be the only thing you do. I see business owners literally every single day call me and say, I need help with my social media. I'm like, great. Well, what else are you doing to grow your business? And they're like, nothing. I'm just going to do social media. And it's not enough. For some businesses, it can be, but often those businesses have to invest a significant amount of money in ads, which is great, but it's for a very specific type of business. Most of the folks that I talk with who are building personal brands, right, or are service-based businesses, only doing social media or only doing ads is not going to be enough. So keep that in mind. Social media is incredibly important, but it cannot be the only thing that you do. So that begs the question, well, what are the other types of things you can do? And so I wanted to give you a little sense of what the social media, what the marketing, what's called the marketing funnel looks like, because there's different things that you want to do for your leads depending on where they are in awareness of your business, right? So the first thing is you're just going to want to gain awareness, right? New people. So this is a funnel, right? We want to drive people through the funnel, just like water goes through the funnel, right? We want to get more people coming into the funnel. And we do that through awareness generation activities. And these are things like search engine optimization, social media. This is where social media falls in, content marketing, blogging, which also ties in with search engine optimization, advertisings, public relations, networking, directory listings. There's lots of things you can do here, but you want to make sure that you have at least one activity in this awareness generation area. So this is where if only you have one, which is just social media, and you're not doing something to drive people through the rest of the funnel, you're going to be missing out in your business. This next phase that people get to is one of consideration. So here's where we want to do things like landing pages, lead magnets, webinars. This is a consideration event for me in my business, right? Hopefully you guys have heard about me. Obviously you've heard about me somehow, right? Either you Googled for, someone who's talking about how to market your business online, or you met me at an event, or you saw a press release that I put out, or you found me on social media. You became into awareness of my business. Then in order to kind of drive people down the funnel a little bit more, I'm offering some additional content like this, right? This kind of webinar type thing where I'm, can then collect names and offer you a little bit more content, hopefully, get you a little bit more interested in what I'm doing. And if it's a good fit, then we'll get to the point of decision. We'll talk about that in a minute. So this is the area where we do landing pages, lead magnets, webinars. This is where your website's real important, freebies, Facebook groups, remarketing, all of those things are real important here. Now, there can be a place where social media is important in consideration. It's very important when people are aware of you. keeping in touch with them and keeping them continuously seeing your content so that they move into this consideration, right? So they don't only find you on social media, but you're also, continuing to give them new content to hopefully drive them down into consideration and then ultimately into decision, where this is where you're doing things like emails, maybe promotions. For a lot of people, this is a consult call. It just depends a little bit on your business. So, social media can't be the only thing that you're doing. You need to have multiple things you're doing to grow your business, no matter, what type of business it is. The other thing is, from a cautionary tale perspective, if you're only marketing on social media, what happens if social media goes away? I don't know if you guys remember, was it a year ago or so that Facebook and Instagram went down? What if they never came back? Right? Or think about people who only built their business through face-to-face events. Well, COVID happened and they were in trouble, right? They lost all of their lead generation capabilities. So you want to make sure that you're doing multiple things. So not putting all your eggs in one basket. So if something changes in the marketplace, you're able to continue to grow leads. And I've done some other trainings on this. If you guys are interested in those, I'll try to, send me a direct message and I'll send those to you. All right. The other thing I want to talk about is that social media might not be right for your business. Here's why. I'll give you a great example. So, and I use this example a lot. So if you've heard it, I just want to, it's such a good one that I like to use it. So think about an oral surgeon, right? So an oral surgeon is the person that you go to if you need a root canal, right? So something's really wrong. You need to go to an oral surgeon for a root canal. So an oral surgeon, if I were creating their marketing plan, I wouldn't include social media. The only thing that I would include is sucking up to dentists, because dentists are the ones who are going to refer 90%, 99% of my business, right? Nobody just goes to an oral surgeon like, hey, I think I'm going to go to an oral surgeon and get a root canal, right? No one does that. An oral surgeon gets all of their leads from a dentist. So when you're putting together a marketing plan for an oral surgeon, does it make sense to do social media? I mean, maybe, right? But if your real goal is to get dentists to refer you, because that's where 99% of your business comes, social media might not be the best thing to do, right? Are all those dentists on social media? Are they really going to be engaging with your content? Or are there other things that you could be doing in order to engage with those dentists, right? So maybe you're doing dentist specific events or sending them gifts every single month or something like that. So in that case, for an oral surgeon, doing social media might not make any difference to their overall business. So you want to make sure that you've worked with, a marketing mentor, a marketing strategist who can help you put together exactly what's the right thing for you to do to drive your business, because it might not be social media. Okay. I'm off my soapbox on that, but so many people just think, oh, okay, I'll just do social media and it'll be fine. I actually met with a business the other day and they were like, well, we're posting on social media, but it's just not working because they're not pulling any of these other levers, right? And they're not getting in front of the right people that they need to be getting in front of. And it's not because of what they're doing. It's because social media isn't right for their type of business, or it's not the first thing they should do in their business in order to grow. And so that's where we have to be real strategic. We don't want to see social media as the default go-to that's always going to work. Okay. So now you've decided that social media absolutely is important for your business. I'm going to give you some tips over the next 10 minutes or so that are going to help you to grow your business. So the first thing is you want to choose one platform to focus on. One of the great opportunities and one of the great challenges that we have right now in the world of social media is there's so many places that we can market ourselves, right? There's Facebook business pages, there's Facebook personal pages, there's Facebook groups, there's Instagram, there's TikTok, there's so many. Clubhouse. Is Clubhouse still happening? Someone invited me to a Clubhouse thing the other day. I was like, are we still on Clubhouse? But there's so many different places that you can go to market yourself. especially if you're just starting out on social media, find one that you're really going to kill it on, that you're going to focus all your attention on. The great thing about choosing either Facebook or Instagram to do this with is because they're now owned by the same company, you can share information back and forth. So if you post just on Facebook, you can have it post on Instagram. If you post on Instagram, it'll automatically repost on Facebook. And that's really nice. So I usually say if you're going to start with those two because they have the most general population of people on them, and it allows you to be on two platforms at once. But choose one platform to focus on and do a great job of that. Then later you can add on, because otherwise you're going to spread yourself too thin, and you want to you just might not do as good of a job as you could, and it takes time to do social media well. So you want to make sure that when you do it, just focus on one platform to start. The second thing is you really want to vary the types of content you present based on your overall business strategy, right? So there's a couple different things you want to have, but you want it to be really a mix of what I call personal, and it depends on your business. But if you're creating a personal brand, which most of you guys probably are, if you're creating a personal brand, you want to show more about you, more about your personality. Sometimes I'll call this personality driven post as opposed to personal, because people feel a little weird about saying personal posts, right? It just doesn't, you don't have to share things you don't want to, but you do want people to get to know you as a person, right? No matter what your business is, right? You want to get to know that person as a person. You want to see, who they are, what makes them tick. Think about someone like Oprah, right? I'm not going to work directly with Oprah, but I buy her products because I like her, because she has put herself out there as a personality. She put some of her, who she is out there. So you want to make sure that you include that. And for some people, this is super uncomfortable. And that's where a marketing mentor can help, is to help you figure out how to do that in a way that's comfortable for you, right? But still helps you create those real authentic connections that you need in order to grow your business. So a good mix of personal advice, the most powerful types of content that you can create for your business is advice type content. So if you go and you look through my content, right, either on my Instagram channel or on my Facebook page, it is very heavily advice focused. So here's a challenge I know you're having. Here's a way to solve it. This content right now, this training right now is advice-based content, right? Giving you a little piece of advice, and that type of content is incredibly powerful because you're helping people right now with their problem and getting them to see you as a trusted source for solving that. That is what's going to really, under that consideration phase, help people to know whether or not they want to continue to work with you, hopefully, obviously in a paid way later on. The other piece is just inspiration. We're so overwhelmed these days, right? Using social media as a platform for good, a platform for inspiration, a platform to lift one another up is something that I really believe in, and is going to be something that people are going to want to keep coming back to your content, right? If you are inspirational, they're going to appreciate it. And you can find ways to be inspirational in a way that's appropriate for your brand, right? Whatever that might be. Promotion is the third type, or the last type of posts that you want to be doing, but you don't want to do a lot of these, right? Because you don't want to be this person, right, who's just gotten, their fifth direct message from this annoying person who's like, hey, do you want to buy my blah, 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 right? You can promote your business. Absolutely. You can do things that are very specific to promoting your business, but you want to keep those to a minimum. One of the best ways to promote your business is doing it in a soft way when you're offering people advice. So I'll give you a good example. This presentation is a good example of that. Or if you look through most of my posts, and I just did this with a client for the last week, I'll do a hey, I did a post today on how to get Google reviews, because I was at the pediatrician yesterday with my son, and I noticed they were doing a really good job of Google reviews, and that's something that people ask me all the time. So I decided to do a post on, if you want more Google reviews, here's how this doctor is doing it really right. Here's some advice on how to get more Google reviews. Then at the end, I put a little, hey, if you want to talk about this some more, I'd love to work with you. I offer these 90-minute sessions, and this is a perfect topic for one of those sessions. So I'm giving advice, and then I'm doing a little bit of a soft sell. So you don't want to only do posts. You can do some, but never, I would say never more than 10% where you're only promoting your products. Like, hey, buy this. Hey, I've got this on sale. Sometimes those are okay, but just be real careful about how frequently you're doing those. And I did a training a while back. You can find it on my YouTube channel if you just search either for my name or for DD Marketing Collective. I did one on how to promote your business without being an a-hole. And I talk all about this, right? How can you promote your business without being that person, right? I would recommend that you post at least 4 times a week. The guidance on this from the people who, manage social media for a living constantly changes, right? I remember at one point last week, it was like, or last year rather, it was like, you have to post 15 times a week. And then all of a sudden, Instagram came out and said, well, only 3 times a week now. And so it's constantly changing. You are going to hear different advice on this all the time. So just be prepared. It's one of those things that's a little bit of a moving target, but I kind of look at it like working out, right? If I can start with 4 days a week, I'm doing pretty good, right? So if you're just starting out, 4 times a week is a great place to start. This includes not only posts, but also stories. I'm not going to talk about that much more today, but something to keep in mind is that you don't want to just do posts, but you also want to do stories. And stories can be a good mix of behind the scenes as well as promotional things. One of the other things that's really essential when it comes to killing it on social media is you can't just post your stuff and leave, right? Social media is designed to be social. So it's a two-way communication between you and someone else. And the more that you're communicating two-way, the more the algorithm is going to say, oh, this person is really creating genuine relationships. I'm going to show their stuff more frequently. So engaging with other people's posts is absolutely essential. Make sure you're setting aside time every single day, or at least it's certainly the days that you're posting, to go in, engage on what other people are doing, like what they're doing, comment on what they're doing. I like to say 5 words and an emoji, right? Make sure that you're constantly connecting with other people. Also, genuine relationships are the #1 way to grow your business, and engaging with other people's social media, giving them some love with what they're doing on social media is a great way to continue to grow those relationships without having to kind of meet with somebody in person. And that takes me to my next point, which is social media and networking really go hand in hand. The way that I like to look at social media is not necessarily a way for people to always become aware of me, but it's a way for me to stay in touch with all the people that I meet in all the other places, right? So I go to a lot of networking events. I speak at a lot of networking events. I speak at conferences, whether it's virtual or online. I use social media as a way to stay in touch with those people by friending them, by following them, by, making sure I'm engaging with their content so that then when I'm posting, they're going to see my content. And it's a great way of staying in someone's world and in these contacts world without having to put in, the individual one-on-one effort, because there's only so much time in the day, right? So social media is a great way for us to continue to grow our network outside of doing that, in person, whether that's, virtual or otherwise, right? So think of it as part of an overall strategy to really develop those relationships and not the only one. So make sure you're not going online and just posting and leaving. Engage, find other people, like what they're doing, use it as a tool for creating and finding those people and creating those relationships. The other thing that I hear from a lot of folks is, where do I post, right? Or this is more common. I post on my business page all the time, but I'm not getting any traction. So business pages, especially on, particularly on Facebook, they just don't do a lot in the algorithm. And here's why. Frankly, Meta, who owns Facebook and Instagram, they're a money-making venture, right? So they want to if they're going to show your business content, they want you to pay for it. And so they don't show business pages very often in the algorithm. They came out recently and said they're going to show them more. I think it helped a little bit, but really, if you're only posting on your business page, you're missing a huge opportunity. If you think about the point I made a few minutes ago, that social media is designed as a way for you to keep in touch with your network of people who you're meeting, that you're building genuine connections with, then you want to be posting your business information on your personal page as well. Now, you don't want it to go all business, right? So make sure you're still doing a mix of some personal. And that's why I mentioned earlier, personal or personality type posts are still an important part. But it's fine to promote your business on your personal page if you're doing it with the formula that I shared with you earlier, which is this idea of, keeping your promotional posts to a minimum and having your content be a mix of both personal or personality posts, advice posts, inspiration posts, with just a little bit of promotion along the way. So I find that, my business page doesn't do much. It doesn't do much for most of my clients, but posting on my personal page does. Also, that's where you're going to be interacting with other people, right? So if you're telling the algorithm, hey, I'm being social, right? I'm commenting on all these people's posts. You're not doing that from your business page. You're doing that from your personal page. So in order for you to be seen by those same people, you need to be posting that on your personal page. And I know a lot of people feel a little funny about that, right? They don't want to be one of those annoying people. And again, this is one of those places where, like, if you want, let's sit down and talk it through, because we can create a strategy where you don't feel icky about it, right? And I promise you, I've worked with hundreds of entrepreneurs to help them figure out exactly how to do that. Having an overall marketing strategy, which includes social, is key to having effective lead generation for your business and making the most of your time. I see a lot of businesses, especially early on, who spend a ton of time and often a ton of money on creating a really good social media platform, but it's not really targeted at the right audience, or social media isn't the way for them to drive their business. Going back to that oral surgeon example, social media might not be the right place. So really working with somebody to have a very buttoned up marketing strategy that's laser focused, because you can create social media. I mean, it's fun, right? Why not? But if it's not really driving your business, don't do it, right? Let's find a way to drive your business in the most efficient and effective way possible, because you only have so much time and so much money. I wanted to spend a minute talking about whether or not you need a social media manager or a marketing mentor. So, excuse me. This is something that comes up quite a bit, and I actually have a whole training on it. So if you're interested in it, send me a direct message and I'll send it to you. Often people are really overwhelmed by social media. It is a whole skill set in and of itself. So I completely get it. So people are like, I just want to outsource it, right? I either want to outsource it or I just need somebody to tell me what to do. So you need to kind of decide which of these two things is best for you. If you are creating a personal brand where you are the face of the brand, it is often incredibly difficult to outsource that to a social media manager in a way that's effective. Why? Because you need to be there, right? You need to be the face of the business. It needs to be your words. It needs to be your vibe. And I can tell you, I've experimented with this even in my own business, and it doesn't work. The more it's me creating the content, me writing the posts, they always do so much better. Now, I do use a social media person to help me, like, post things on time, give me ideas, do some supplemental posts maybe when I'm doing videos. So there are times where you can use a social media manager, but if you're creating a personal brand, then I always recommend that you start with a marketing mentor, because then they can help you figure out how do you show up online in the easiest way possible that's going to drive your business in the most efficient and effective way. And because you're the one that needs to be there and creating that content, one of the things that a marketing mentor can do for you is not only help you to define that strategy, but one of the things that I do is I actually go to my client's location and we create their content together. And that's where the real magic happens, because you don't have to do it by yourself, right? And so that's sort of the difference between having a social media manager where you're just saying, you do it, I just can't, I don't want to deal with it, and having a marketing mentor. And marketing mentor is going to help you do the strategy and then also help you to co-create that content. And so that's sort of the difference. And it really depends on the type of business you have. Again, if you are the face of your business, and 90% of the people listening to this are or need to be, then having a marketing mentor who, again, can put together the strategy for you, teach you how to do social media well, and co-create content for you is often the better way to go, rather than just outsourcing to a social media manager, because that's also expensive, right? It's going to cost you significantly more to do that, and you might not get the return. So if that's something that sounds like what you need, I would love to work with you. I work one-on-one with clients who are building personal brands, who need to not only have a really robust marketing strategy, but just a daily task. So what exactly am I supposed to be doing day by day? And then want a partner to work with them to create that content. So I'll give you an example. I was just meeting with one of my clients who runs a cooking school, and we just set up a time in February. I'm going to go spend 3 hours with her, and we're just going to create a gazillion little videos of her doing advice videos, some behind the scenes that she can utilize as part of her overall strategy, which we put together for her social media. So finding someone who can help you not only put together that strategy, create a very targeted list of exactly what you need to do, teach you what you need to know, and then can be right next to you, co-creating all of your content. I would love to work with you to do that. I do that with a ton of clients, both whether you're here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area or not. So fun. These like co-creation days are some of my favorites. So they're really, really fun. So give me a holler if you're interested in that. I also have a group program that's starting next week. I mentioned it earlier. It's a really unique course because we're going to not only teach, or I'm not only going to teach you how to do things, but we're also going to have time in that class where we actually do the stuff. So week 1, we're going to have a little bit of a class with some time to actually implement that in our business. Then week 2, we're going to just have a co-working session where we're working together to actually execute on the things that we were trained about the week before. And then week 3, we're going to go back to training and implementation. Week 4, we go back to co-working and so forth. And so it's a great program if you really want to get your marketing going, but you know you need a little bit of guidance and support, but you don't want to just like take a class, write a whole list of stuff that you need to do and never get it done. So that's the Goal Getter Collective. The price point is a really great price point. I've started it at $199 a month, depending on the payment path you choose, because I really want it to be accessible. It's ideal for people who are sort of, haven't quite made their first 100,000, right? Or just starting out. And if you like free trainings like this, I would love to have you come next week. I do these free trainings every single Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Next week, we're going to talk about how to create short form videos that sell. And what I mean by short form videos is just these little short videos that you use either as reels or, you can put them in your emails, those types of things. So we're going to talk about short form videos that sell, how to make them, what makes them really effective, and all of that. So I hope that this was super helpful for you. Let me know, leave me a note down below. Tell me what you think of this training. Give me ideas for future trainings of things that you'd like to learn about. And if you have questions on how we can work together, you can head over to my website. It's didi.marketing, DIDI.marketing, or you can just direct message me or email Sherry, SHERRY, at didi.marketing. I hope you guys have a fabulous day. Bye.